Hey everybody, welcome to Commonwealth Spaces with Nibiru. Everybody doing good out there? I see people are still waiting to come in, so let's just give it a second and we'll invite people in. Welcome if you just joined us. This is another Spaces with Commonwealth, and we are welcoming Nibiru here, and we're going to have a great update on what's been happening in the world of Nibiru. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We'll just give it a couple of minutes for people to arrive, and then we'll get started. Just while we're waiting for people to arrive, how's it going there? Who do we have from Nibiru? I see Brandon's here, and then another one from Nibiru. Do you want to guys want to unmute yourselves and say hi?
Yeah, hey, are you able to hear me?
I've got you 5 on 5. Yes, perfect.
Awesome, incredible. Yeah, so it'll be just myself. Hey everyone, I'm Brandon, one of the members at Nibiru, head of growth here. Yeah, excited to be on the spaces with Commonwealth today. And is this Tim,
That's
by the way?
amazing.
Or
This is Tim. Yeah, this is Tim. Hey, Brandon, how's it
incredible.
going?
Yeah, going well, man. See all the buzz around Commonwealth. Looks like some like that exciting things are going around there right now.
It's been a busy couple of days, I won't lie. The public sale's going on right now, and just hit our soft cap, so everyone's kind of celebrating the milestone, and it's come around very, very quickly. So there's still quite a lot happening it's open until actually Saturday morning, so you can still participate and stuff like that. But obviously, as you know, when you deploy something like this, or you're working with like a public sale. There's always like a lot of intensity and bugs and fixes and you know emotions running high. So it's just one of those moments, Brandon. But every startup faces these challenges, so it's part of the journey, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. The grass is always greener on the other side. It's already been 2 months for us, but I mean, it's been a journey, but it hasn't felt like 2 months for sure. It's felt like an eternity since. Um, yeah, I mean, you guys are doing great. Keep up the great sentiment. Excited for what's to come with Commonwealth.
Thank you, man. That's really, really nice of you. And it's nice to hear you say the grass is greener on the other side. I want to hear more about that because I do feel it's like a little bit of a distraction to go through the process of like, launching a token when, it's the emphasis is actually on everything else you're trying to achieve. Of course, that's a big part of it, right? But now I suppose you guys have gotten over that hump. I'm really looking forward to hearing how things are going with the development of the chain and the ecosystem. And yeah, we'll get into those updates in a second. I think quite a few people are here, so let's get started. My name's Tim. I'm one of the co-founders of Commonwealth, and I'm also part of the team on a daily basis, helping bring Commonwealth to life. And sort of, I'm representative of All Street, which is our community. And yeah, great to be here with Brandon from Nibiru. And the reason we're here with Nibiru is, of course, if you were around, let's say 2 months ago, we had something called the world's first free fund, and that was the first ever on-chain fund, which is what Commonwealth brings as a technology solution, is an on-chain venture capital system, and it wasn't only the first on-chain fund; it was the first fund that was earn to own. So instead of just taking out your wallet or opening up your wallet in on your browser or on your phone and buying into a fund, these guys were actually earning the fund through their hard work, their sort of online and their on-chain interactions with the dApps and within the ecosystems of the participating projects. So if you were successful in being one of the most active participants online and on chain over a 3 week period, you actually got yourself a slice of this on chain fund. And Nibiru is, of course, a huge name in Web3. Anybody who's in, kind of Web3 in any sort of shape or form on a daily basis will have heard of Nibiru before the free fund and definitely after the free fund. They have since launched a token that's doing really, really well, and of course they're live on mainnet with Nibiru, layer one blockchain. And I'm not going to try to describe why Nibiru is one of the better blockchains out there. I'm going to leave that to Brandon. But yeah, Brandon, welcome to the spaces with us, and yeah, tell us how it's been going over there.
Yeah, thanks, Tim, for the intro. Things have been going quite swell here at Nibiru. Obviously, post mainnet launch, we've been focused on building the different dApps. So, to kind of give some context for the audience here, Nibiru is a general purpose layer one, offering 40,000 TPS with 1.5 second block times. Nibiru smart contracts are CosmWasm, which are written in Rust. But exciting news is the chain will be offering a full EVM equivalent execution environment later this year, alongside a parallel optimistic execution. We're expecting to get EVM compatibility out on DevNet sometime this quarter. We're currently running a hackathon with Dora Hacks, and obviously, majority of folks are building dApps on EVM, so it'll be exciting to try and get that out during the hackathon period. But in nature, Nibiru is really focused on onboarding dApps in verticals within DeFi, NFTs, gaming, and RWAs. And some of the problems that we're solving for as a layer one is really supporting the developer journey. What we found, especially within like Web 2 and for Web 2 devs, is really just like the lack of tooling. And so with Nibiru, alongside focusing on those verticals and building dApps to accommodate those verticals, we really want to go out and enhance like the UI and UX experiences for these devs, as well as like the retail user, and just really making things seamless, a seamless experience for users. So within like that, within our like development stack, we have a comprehensive developer toolkit, which includes like Python, TypeScript, Rust, Golang SDKs, alongside like an Unreal SDK, which really caters to game developers. Within that toolkit, you also have a native Oracle and indexer solution. Um, and another perk that folks get for developing on Nibiru is really just a strong development team. The co-founders are Tendermint slash Cosmos natives and veterans, and so you really get strong white glove support if you decide or build on Nibiru. So a lot of great technologies here at Nibiru, alongside with a strong team. Um, and so now, we're seeing that huge influx of different dApps wanting to deploy on the chain. It's a matter of prioritization and, really identifying the folks that we see strong visions with, and then, providing them the resources to build on chain.
That's awesome. What a great introduction, and lots of meaty updates in there. So, if I get that right, if a project has formally developed its tech stack to be native to an EVM blockchain, Ethereum or an L2 on Ethereum, for example, does that mean they'll be able to, relatively easily sort of launch or be native then to Nibiru? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I mean, really, the pain points we've heard across folks that wanted to build on CosmWasm was, there's no EVM support, and so, our CEO Unique has been building out the EVM equivalent execution environment for some time now, and that is the goal. Really, is just to onboard um, developers from like the Ethereum slash Solidity like ecosystem. So that's exactly it, Tim.
Nice, that's excellent. That's good news for Commonwealth too. So we can integrate with you guys pretty soon. Then once we get through the chaos of this week and next week, we can start looking at our roadmap. That's great, man. So happy to hear that. And then you said you're also solving some pain points from obviously from a B2B perspective and a dApp perspective, but also then from a like a user perspective. What would those kind of frictions be that you're targeting?
Yeah, so what we found is fragmentation, especially with retail users. So when you're a brand fresh new Web2 user coming into DeFi or any type of like crypto dApp, it's typically very fragmented. You have to go to one application that's on a random web page, you have no idea what the auditing spectrum looks like for the specific DApp. And so really we just want to simplify that process. And so we've been working on a web app that's been essentially unifying that experience. So if you wanted to, for example, let's say you want to trade perps, partake in staking, or even like as broadly as just like trading NFTs, or even just looking at RWAs. Really, we just wanted to find ways to be able to unify that experience. And so now we've been working pretty intensely on our web app. We just introduced a bridging through Swing XYZ as well as Squid. And so now it's very easy to be able to bridge from these different chains like Avalanche or Ethereum. And that's all natively done through our web app on Nibiru. So um, over time, as we continue to grow the ecosystem with these different dApps, the goal will be to implement and essentially vertically integrate all these dApps within the web app. Tim, are you still there, by the way?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute there. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, guys. I was talking to myself for a second. Thanks, Brandon, for flagging that. Um, great update. So it definitely sounds a lot better than the current experience. I would say the UI experience for you know general Web3 users, and I think you guys are making a lot of sense. And this gives me encouragement because anybody who's been around in crypto for a while, and particularly in the last cycle, a lot of the projects that you would have come across were a lot less developed and a lot less granular, I would say, about the problems they're trying to solve, real world problems. And I think Nibiru does have, a really, really good shot the way you guys are challenging this or tackling this to challenge the status quo in Web3. And let's face it, what we have today is not what it's going to be in 10, 15 years, or even in 3 years, if we're going to onboard huge amounts of institutional capital and fractionalize real world assets and bring them on chain. We're going to have to really be a lot more seamless when it comes to the user experience. So I think you guys are well positioned, and it's just really about execution then. And are you finding that you are able to bring on dApps? Are you finding that you are able to bring on users? How's it looking there, or what are the things you're looking to improve right now, I suppose?
Yeah, sure. So early on in the chain, I think it's safe to say, like, we were trying to scramble to essentially onboard a ton of different, projects. But, post mainnet launch, it's been quite the opposite. We've, been having to turn down some folks. I think what's great about Nibiru and the team here is we've been so focused on growing the TVL and ensuring that the dApps that are building are kind of, aligned with that vision. And so, really right now, I would say the overall funnel for onboarding a dApp does take time. And so obviously asking for the community's patience on this front, but the whole sales life cycle can take upwards of like 3 to 4 months from like, just chatting with folks, understanding their value prop and how they will contribute to the ecosystem to ultimately committing to like an integration. So on that front, it does take time, but I'm excited to share that we've been onboarding quite a few dApps that are actively building at this time. I see Melch from Euclid Protocol, for example. They're actually building a virtual settlement layer on Nibiru. So it's like founders like this and like building these types of dApps aren't grown overnight. It really does take a lot of due diligence from our side, a lot of effort to be able to identify promising dApps. And we also want to ensure that our dApps are safe and compliant from like a security standpoint. And so with like I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but we do offer like an ecosystem grants program, of which we've devoted about 15 mil to the fund, 10 mil of which is dedicated to kind of like the global like North America regions or Europe, and then the 5 mil is dedicated to Asia Pacific. So in terms of like funneling in ecosystem dApps, it's been fairly seamless. It's just a matter of prioritization and seeing who can get their dApps like deployed out the gate first.
Okay, that's very interesting. So you guys really are like about B2B and sort of providing that safe pair of hands and really what's the word? Massaging and nurturing these projects and even financially as well. Is it public in the sense that anybody could go and build on Nibiru, or do you have to like unlock a certain permission from you guys?
No, I mean you can build on the chain whenever. It's a matter of if folks are looking to take their application maybe the next step forward. If they have a clear like go to market vision, and have a clear or have a strong team, then folks can apply for our ecosystem grants program fairly seamlessly. It's just like a simple Google form. But with every intake, the team is manually reviewing each application.
Hmm.
We want to make sure we give each org a fair chance, but it's a pretty intense due diligence process on our side.
For sure, for sure. I imagine as well with so many different priorities across the board, it's difficult as well to do everything brilliantly, right? So you'll learn as well as you go, how to refine this process and streamline it and make it even easier for people to be part of it. But no, that's great. And then what are the pain points? Like, what are you struggling with right now, or what are you looking for help with from like the community perspective, or even the builder's perspective, like what are the things that you sort of need more of?
Yeah, I think it's really just launching in a timely fashion. We have so much in the pipeline alongside with so much that's like getting ready for deployment. Some of the pain points we've solved for is, for example, like having EVM compatibility out. Like that's been a pain point that folks have been looking for quite some time, and so we're trying to ramp that up as quickly as possible. But really, I think the community's been quite supportive of our development timeline. We've been pretty transparent about the roadmap, and I mean, so far, like I think now it's really just honing in with these different dApps, identifying the different like incentive campaigns that we can run with them. So, I mean, we haven't quite shared some of the incentive campaigns quite yet, but I mean, the priorities have been like focusing on these different DeFi dApps. So, I mean, I'm pretty pumped for some of these big name players within like the perps and like lending side to come on board to Nibiru. We also have a pretty prominent DEX that will be coming on, that we just signed a contract with that should be finalizing the integration, I want to say within the next 2 to 3 months. But like I said, Tim, these integrations take time, but you know, we're excited to share though that we will be like releasing our ambassador program, a revamped version of it. And so we'll be funneling in new folks. And so people that have been following Nibiru for some time, um, we'll have the application form out fairly soon for users to apply and begin sharing about Nibiru.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute again. That's awesome. And the ambassador program, I think that's super interesting. It's great that you have that mature enough to be able to sort of even offer it as a plugin. What does it look like to be an ambassador? Like, how would you know if you're a good fit for that role? I'm just thinking of people listening right now who might want to be involved.
Yeah, so there will be two ways to essentially be a part of the program. One is catering to folks offline that may not. So the program itself will essentially run on Discord. Um, we and it's kind of based on your contributions, so the amount of like comments you make, the quality of comments. We have about 30 mods in total on board that will essentially be evaluating the contribution efforts. So whether that's like creating Twitter threads, blog posts, articles, translation services, etc., um, you naturally just gain XP by being a part of like the Discord and contributing organically. And so over time, you gain different Discord roles, which gives you like different access to different channels. Um, and then for the offline side, we have like a separate like individual form for folks that might not be like Discord native, but may have like influence in like their local community, whether they might be like a part of like a blockchain club or simply just like an influencer in the space. We'll have like a separate application form for that. But really, the benefit of being an ambassador is, getting early access and kind of getting that sweet alpha from our different ecosystem dApp partners. Keep in mind, folks that are coming on and hearing about Nibiru now, you guys are quite early in the and all of our dApps that are deploying, we have some pretty prominent figures that are coming out in the next couple months. So, that'll give you access as an ambassador for like early testnet access, potential incentive programs and whatnot. So it's good to be early, right? So the application should
Totally,
be
man.
opening up. I want to say hopefully in the next week or so. So we're excited to launch that, and the program itself will be called Blossom.
Blossom. That's really cool, man. I love that. Online, offline, blossoming. And you talked about XP, then, is there like also a real kind of financial incentive to, is it something people can do to, that's going to be valuable for their time? I know alpha is very valuable, and being early is valuable, but is there something else that people can think about there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the possibilities are quite endless. I mean, we're pretty open to the community feedback when it comes to like rewards. Like I said, being a part of the ambassador program gives you essentially like direct access to both the core team at Nibiru, but also core access to the different ecosystem dApps that are building on the chain. So we also have like Coded Estate, for example, that just ran their like test state program. And for example, like some of the ambassadors had like exclusive like early access to be able to test out some initiatives there. And so really, getting that early access is really going to be reserved for the ambassadors. And then, we'll let the ambassadors trial it out first, and then give it maybe like a couple weeks, and then maybe then open it up to the public. But there really is it really is beneficial to be a part of the ambassador program. In addition to, we'll be launching our Genesis NFT collection, so that'll be reserved for both ambassadors from like a whitelist perspective, as well as some of our uh, gamified engagement airdrop participants. So look forward to that as well.
That's super cool, man. So you're dropping quite a bit of alpha here. I hope everyone's paying attention. I might become an ambassador as well. I love the sound of the Genesis NFT. That's great, man. Yeah, love that. And if somebody wants to be the first to hear or first to kind of get the link to the ambassador program, where is the best place for them to hang out?
Yeah, so a couple spots for the information about the ambassador program. Feel free to follow our Twitter at Nibiru Chain. Um, for our Discord, it's going to be discord.gg/Nibiru FI. So we'll be announcing the ambassador program and the full details in the Discord itself, as long as in addition to like our socials. So yeah, stay tuned
Nice,
for that.
nice. Speaking of socials, we've got two pinned posts here. One is about the hackathon, and the other one is about the accelerator program. I think you pretty much touched on both of those. Is there anything else you want to say about either of those?
Yeah, I would say the accelerator program is pretty exciting. It's called 0 to 1. It's going to be a 10-week program, which essentially gives you, again, like a direct access to the core Nibiru team, as well as different entrepreneurs in the space. And so within the accelerator program, you'll get support on ideation of your project, kind of developing your MVP, as well as like your go to market. In addition to, we have a pretty strong ops and business ops team. So being able to formulate like your tokenomic strategy, kind of like LLC business formation, and kind of how you pitch to VCs would be somewhat of the services that would be within the accelerator program. So that's out. So if you guys are looking to, become a mentor or to receive mentorship, feel free to apply for that. I guess on the hackathon front, that's still ongoing. The price pool of upwards of 160 grand, alongside with possible seed funding commitment from some of our folks on the cap table. So that includes Tribe Capital and ArcStream Capital. So um, the hackathon and the accelerator programs are both like really designed to help encourage like folks that are looking to build um, on Nibiru.
Cool, man. Listen, I think you've touched all the bases. You've given us a massive update on everything in the ecosystem. Sounds hella bullish. I love the EVM play. I think that's definitely something smart, and I think it's going to give you guys an edge. I love the community, sort of the uh, what do we call it? Sorry, you had a name for it. I want to give it
Oh,
the right name.
Blossom.
Blossom. Yeah, exactly. I love the Blossom program, and I also love the fact that you have a lot going on for the builders, the devs, and so yeah, pretty much covering all the bases there. I'd expect nothing less from a project like you guys. You've been super impressive from the very first time I came across you guys. So I wasn't surprised to hear the update going really well. But yeah, I think everybody who's involved in the free fund, now called the priceless fund, should be hella bullish about Nibiru long term. I think it's one of the strongest projects of the cycle, and yeah, let's watch it go from strength to strength. And I think, not financial advice, but the token right now where it is at this stage of the market is also, I think, gonna have a good time for the next couple of months. Let's hope, for everyone involved in Nibiru. Is there anything else you want to add, Brandon, before we round up?
I think that's it on my side. Stay tuned for our different dApps that are coming out. We'll be sharing some pretty big partnership announcements in the coming weeks. So really excited to continue to share the alpha, right? So yeah, stay tuned on our socials. Make sure you're following us. And yeah, thanks a lot, Tim. This was great.
Yeah, you're so welcome, man. I loved it. I'm smarter than I was 30 minutes ago. I feel like, but yeah, thanks everyone for joining. And yeah, I'm going to get back to helping my team with the public sale right now. If there's anybody out there that hasn't heard about the public sale, I think it's nice to know that the soft cap was reached, but the sale isn't over. It actually runs until around Saturday morning, as long as there's still supply left. So we're into the bonus supply now, but it's still the same price. So there's no change. It just means that the soft cap was reached, for the sale. So things are going well. There's a few technical issues, a little hump and bump here and there, but generally speaking, everything seems to be working reasonably well. Of course. So yeah, if you want any more information about that, just hit up our Twitter. It's the pinned post on there. But yeah, thanks very much, Brandon, for joining us today. It was great to hear from you guys on Nibiru, and yeah, keep smashing it for Commonwealth, for All Street, and let us know if you need anything, and we'll be right over there to support you guys.
Appreciate it, Tim. Thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Have a good day, everyone, wherever you are, and thanks for listening in. Cheers.